Have you ever seen a workplace implode from the inside out? I'm 24 and used to work at a non-profit warehouse for their food distribution program. It was a solid job for where I was at in life. Easy hours, fair pay, and a decent experience. I had made friends with my fiance's friends, Jim and Bailey. We hung out on weekends, played D&D, and seemed to get along well. Jim, however, was not a stellar employee. He'd bounced through several jobs, quitting each after a few months. I felt bad for him and helped him get the warehouse job. He moved in with Bailey and their mom because he'd been kicked out of his dad's house. Initially, things seemed okay. I ended up mentoring Jim, showing him warehouse procedures, forklifts, and general work ethic. For months, he and I were the only competent employees. The others, Mary and Zeke, constantly showed up late, left early, or spent more time on their phones than working. Bethany, the program director, was a disaster. She could write grants, but managed the warehouse terribly. Tens of thousands were spent on equipment that didn't work. Tiny forklifts that couldn't lift our loads, a 30K cooler that blew up, a 30-foot mobile pantry that never got completed, trucks that couldn't haul our weight, and solar panels that never got installed. When I raised concerns, she told me to learn to work with people with different work ethics. I eventually stopped trying. Then came the personal complications. Jim, Bailey, and I had casually discussed moving in together. My sister offered to help me and my fiance relocate 3 hours away, covering most of the rent. I told Jim that he and Bailey could take over our current place if they wanted. This caused chaos. My fiance got a barrage of angry texts and calls, claiming I was manipulating them, ruining friendships, and being selfish. She eventually cut ties with them. Jim brushed me off at work, saying this isn't the appropriate place, so I stopped engaging. At the warehouse, tensions escalated. Zeke stopped talking to me. Mary started spreading rumors about me. Jim filed a complaint accusing me of bullying, signed by anonymous coworkers, obviously Zeke and Mary. I kept my head down, did my work, and looked for a new job. Here's where it gets interesting. I have a background in environmental work, so when a position opened at the at-risk youth high school where I earned my GED, I jumped on it. The school funded the warehouse and oversaw some employee contracts, including Jim, Mary, Zeke, and Bethany. I worked hard with the students, building credibility. Over time, I started pointing out inefficiencies at the warehouse, who was slacking, who came in late, and who misused resources. The contract manager asked questions, and I detailed everything I'd observed. Jim taking advantage, Zeke's tardiness and hungover mornings, Mary wasting time, and Bethany's spending. I didn't hear immediate results. I assumed things would quietly roll downhill. That was fine. I stayed focused on my students and work. Fast forward almost a year. I had moved to a grocery store job, but kept in touch with my former warehouse manager. He invited me to pick up some food. I wasn't thrilled about facing Zeke, Mary, and Jim, but when I arrived, no one was there, just the manager. That's when I learned the fallout. Bethany had been investigated and resigned. Zeke, Mary, and Jim's contracts weren't renewed. They were all out. Funding for the warehouse from the school had been cut, and the warehouse restructured to run mostly on volunteers. The chaos they'd created finally caught up to them. Sitting in my car with boxes of food, I smiled, not out of cruelty, but because the dominoes had fallen naturally. I hadn't set out to ruin anyone. I just did my job, answered questions honestly, and shared observations. Looking back, it's wild to see how everything connected. Jim's lack of initiative, Zeke and Mary's poor habits, and Bethany's reckless spending created a perfect storm. My quiet diligence and honest reporting just pushed it over the edge. I hadn't even imagined the scale of the fallout until I heard it straight from my old manager. Now I'm filling out paperwork for a new job in a different town, paying $10 more per hour than the school did. Life moves forward, but the warehouse story stays with me. It's proof that sometimes patience, honesty, and quietly doing the right thing while not engaging in drama can change everything, even if you don't see it immediately. And the best part? I still have a network of colleagues who respect me, and I left a trail of truth that forced accountability. Bethany, Jim, Mary, and Zeke may have lost their jobs, but the warehouse is finally in better hands with proper oversight thanks to an unexpected ripple effect. It's funny how life works. I didn't try to ruin anyone. I just kept doing what I thought was right, and the rest took care of itself. Sometimes you just have to focus on your own path, and the truth has a way of catching up with people who think they can skate by.